This one says, authority is not power. Authority is not power. It is the right to exercise power. If there's anyone in the room of a technical persuasion and you've encountered power, which is measured in watts, power is the ability to work efficiently. Weightlifter has power because you throw 225 pounds up on that bar, they can move that 225 pounds 25 times, which means they're probably pretty strong. But power is the ability to work efficiently. What I've seen time and time again in the real world is there's a confusion, if you will, a blurring of the lines between having authority and having that authority be your power. Authority says, well, no, as a leader, you are given a license to serve those that you lead. And you serve those that you lead by working on their behalf. That's a very simple litmus test for any and all of your leaders, whether they're leaders in the student organizations, whether they're leaders of the free world, leaders of universities, whatever it is that they're leading, you've got to hold them to the standard of working feverishly and efficiently on behalf of those that they serve, and not simply resting on the laurels of that authority. Make sense? No. I'll leave that one alone. I had a story here about, I read this very incriminating article probably about 2 weeks ago called How to Control People. It's one of those things that floats around the internet and you read it and you say, well, I tell you what, I don't want to profess or preach any of this to anybody. I would, if anything, want to profess the antithesis to this, but it describes it's an advisement to people who lead people as to how you keep people in line, how you keep people in check. And one of the first things it said was you control their access to education and you blur the lines between what they see as pure education and vocational training. How do you do that? Well, what you do is you make sure that everything that they think of is based on what somebody else has said. You discourage original thought. And these are not my words, these are words from the article. And you discourage original thought a lot of times by just saying, no, that's not true. The best thing you can do while you're here is become the owner of your conscious and rational mind and dare to think of things that people have not thought about. A very simple way to do that is to just ponder the things that people have thought about and to ask questions. Ideas and questions are the keys and the conductors to innovation. If we lose the ability to question, if we lose the ability to brainstorm, then all we're going to do is what everybody else has done. When I was here, I was taught the game. This is how you get your degree. This is how you get your thesis done. You go and find an idea, and you find an idea that has been done, and then you tweak one part of it, or you ask a question about some part of it, and then that question, the answer to that question becomes your thesis. That's how that was done. Now, after reading this article, I said, okay, now, I know this is some propaganda that I shouldn't pay a whole lot of attention to, but that's the first thing that made me think about it. I remember a student actually told me, yeah, this is how you get through grad school. And I was like, yeah, that's how you get through it, but it may not provide you with all the opportunities that you get if you just decide to try to wrestle with something that nobody's thought about yet. If you look in your circumstance, either today, yesterday, or tomorrow, you'll find something that aggravates you to the point of wanting to find an answer that maybe nobody's thought of before. And if it aggravates you enough, you may mess around and find yourself in a position like I am. I spend most of my days working on answering the questions that are key and commensurate to helping me kind of flesh out the world around me and finding my place in it. I spend all my time answering questions.